Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And again, I want to just begin by saluting my colleague from Connecticut, Chris Murphy, who over the last 72 hours has been the voice of the community of Western Connecticut and Newtown in particular. He has handled his role in that capacity with poise and good decorum and taste. It really is something that I think we should all in this chamber be so proud of. And I would also want to mention that he did it as a father of someone who has a 4-year-old son, Owen, who I'm sure was seeing all around him the events that were unfolding, the unspeakable horror, again, in the eyes of a parent of a child really of the same age group. And again, we are just so lucky to have had his amazing leadership over the last 3 or 4 days. You know, the President last night opened his remarks about how the town of Newtown is really like many communities in America. And to a point, it's true. It's 29,000, tight-knit, very small town. But it is a town that, frankly, is above average in many instances. It is a school system that scores at the absolute top of the mastery tests in the state of Connecticut. And that doesn't happen by accident. It's because it has parents and staff that year in and year out have been so committed to making sure that children succeed and excel, and really has been a model for the state of Connecticut and for our country, and when education really still is, I think, probably one of the most important challenges that we need to succeed at as a country. And for this event to happen at a Sandy Hook Elementary School, a school, when I was sitting with the Board of Education last night during the interfaith vigil, where all of them were talking about their kids who'd gone through Sandy Hook and now were successfully pursuing careers in New York and the West Coast and in Connecticut, really, again, was just tore the heart out of this community. It's a community where they've had one act of homicide over the last 10 years, and to see those police officers come down the aisle having, again, to respond to this unspeakable horror, and to see the looks on their face and the emotional drain that it took place, it really, again, was just something that was just so out of any norm for any community, but certainly in particular for the town of Newtown. And as Chris said, though, in every instance, whether it was the principal, the teachers, the parents, the first responders, the caregivers, in every instance, they rose to the challenge. They did their job. Victoria Soto, the teacher who shielded and literally saved the lives of at least a half dozen students, was in the middle of a lesson when this person burst into her classroom, and in 10 minutes from beginning to end, since this debate has started, the event had already had reached its conclusion. I mean, in the time that we've been here on the floor, for her to think so quickly and to react so courageously, again, is an act of human excellence that I think all of us will wonder whether or not we ourselves could ever possibly have done the same. But her example, the example of the police and the EMS, the example of the doctors and nurses who, again, responded so quickly, frankly, I see that as a challenge to this Congress. They acted. They did what they were supposed to do. And as the President said last night, if you believe that a society is how we protect our children, and if you're honest, you have to answer that we really are not doing all that we can do, then frankly it is time for us to follow the example of the Victoria Sotos and to act. And this resolution tonight is so important to begin that first step. But the fact of the matter is that there is much more that needs to be done. This morning, as I was driving to the airport on the back roads of Connecticut, I went by a number of elementary schools, and every single one of them, there was a police cruiser at the entrance. And again, the state police and the local police departments, I think, were being very thoughtful. They wanted to make sure that parents and kids, when they were going to school, felt safe, and that they, after all they had seen on the TV over the weekend, that it was okay to go in the entrance of their schools. But that is not an answer. To say that we are going to turn our schools into fortresses is not where we should be as a nation. We need to go deeper in terms of solving this problem of mass killings and of violence that now, again, is striking at the most innocent in our society. And again, I look forward to working with the gentleman from the 5th District over the next few days, and when he takes his new duties as the new senator from the state of Connecticut, to make sure that the people in that room last night who were listening to the president, the people in our state, the people in our country, the people in the world that are now watching us, that we make sure that we deliver, just like the brave people of the town of Newtown did over this past weekend. And with that, I yield back.